Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Today, we're looking at Nebius Group. The big question is it a good time to buy now?
We want to hear from you. Subscribe, like, and comment to support the show. And if there's a specific company you want us to look into, leave it in the comments below.
So let's get into the analysis. And when we talk about a high-growth company like Nebius Group, we really have to start with the most extreme number out there, the valuation. The market capitalization is sitting near, what, $29.45 billion? It's huge.
Huge is right. And frankly, the market is pricing this like it's the next big thing. But let's just pause there for a second. That price to earnings ratio, it's what, 137.91? I mean, that sounds completely disconnected, doesn't it? How do we even begin to square that number with only like $249 million in trailing 12-month revenue?
Well, you can't, really. Not using traditional metrics anyway. Because this price isn't about today. It's the price of massive future potential. When investors are willing to pay almost 138 times current earnings, they are basically betting everything on this huge acceleration in growth. And it has to happen, like right now.
Okay, but if we look at the numbers that did recently clear the bar, there's something a bit strange, right? TTM revenues were $249.3 million. Okay, but the net income was almost the same, $243.5 million. That points to a nearly 98% net margin. That just seems unheard of.
Right, and that's the critical insight here, I think. That incredible margin tells us that the previous period was, let's say, highly unusual. It was probably a snapshot before they really started their aggressive investment cycle. That investment cycle, that's what we're seeing reflected in the near-term outlook now. Analysts are actually expecting a loss for Q3 2025. The results are due November 11th. They're predicting a loss of about 0.49 cents per share on roughly $155 million in revenue.
So they're flipping the switch. Trading profit now for market share and hopefully future growth down the line.
Exactly. They're hitting the gas on spending.
So that super high PLE, it all depends on a future where those investments really pay off, big time. But before we dive into the growth story itself, we have to talk about something that's missing, right, for our listeners.
Yes, absolutely. The crucial caveat here is, well, transparency. All the fundamental data we're talking about, it comes from reliable third-party sources, aggregators. But we couldn't easily pull up the detailed primary SEC filings, you know, the 10K or the 10Q.
Okay, that's significant.
It is. It means those critical details like specific debt levels, the actual free cash flow figures, the overall financial health. It's not directly verifiable from official company disclosures in the sources we had. And that lack of a detailed blueprint, well, it just magnifies every other risk in this kind of hyper-growth story.
Wow. That is absolutely essential context. It's like you're buying this really fancy premium car, but you don't actually have the maintenance records. You just have to trust it's okay under the hood.
That's a great analogy. Exactly. So we know the foundation looks maybe a bit shaky, or at least, incomplete. But let's talk about the huge bets being placed on top of it anyway. Why is the market willing to overlook near-term losses and 137 PE?
Right. What's the story they're buying into?
It's their positioning. They're right at the absolute epicenter of this massive structural shift towards AI and autonomy.
Okay, so they aren't just selling like one thing. They're selling the whole factory, essentially, trying to be the full stack enabler.
Let's call it the AI factory. I like that. They basically sell three interconnected things. First, the core machinery. That's their AI infrastructure, their cloud platforms, offering things like large-scale GPU clusters. You need the hardware.
Got it. The hardware.
Second, they sell the fuel for that machinery. That's the Toloka data platform, critical for training these huge generative AI models everyone's talking about.
Data is the fuel. Makes sense.
Yep.
And the third piece?
The third piece, and this is the flashy one, it's kind of the final product delivery. Autonomous mobility. That's through their subsidiary, Avreed.
Avreed. Right.
And that's where you see these high-value, headline-grabbing partnerships starting to line up. It confirms institutional confidence is, well, pretty high right now.
Yeah, that validation must count for a lot.
Oh, it's massive. Look at the Microsoft collaboration. Nebius is named as a key partner in Microsoft's, $19.4 billion commitment to build out global AI centers.
19 billion. Wow.
Yeah. That's not just a partnership. It's basically a huge endorsement of Nebius's core tech.
And then you mentioned Avreed, the direct autonomy play.
Right. They recently secured a $375 million investment. And interestingly, part of that is in partnership with Uber. The goal is specifically deploying robotaxis.
Robotaxis. Okay, are they talking timelines?
They are. They even have a target date and a location,
Oh.
late 2025, starting in Dallas. So that gives the market a very concrete, high-stakes milestone to watch.
Okay, a tangible goal. That helps.
Definitely. And then, tying back to the infrastructure side, they've also firmed up their distribution channel. They partnered with TDSYNX to expand their AI infrastructure reach. So you can buy the infrastructure, the data platforms, these big mobility projects, and the institutional backing.
And suddenly the growth story starts to sound like it might justify that sky-high valuation.
Might justify it, yes, but, and it's a big but, only if they execute flawlessly. There's no room for error.
And execution, well, it seems to be happening at a breakneck pace so far, right? Looking back at their Q2 2025 results, revenue was up 625% year over year.
625%, yeah.
Yeah.
Hit $105.1 million.
That's just nuclear growth. Is that explosive number purely from the AI cloud stuff, or is Arita contributing already?
So far, that recent top-line boom is mostly credited to the AI cloud sector. And that's exactly what investors are banking on, hoping that kind of growth starts to shrink that PE ratio naturally over time just by growing earnings.
Makes sense. Earn their way into the valuation.
Exactly. And that powerful recent growth momentum, well, it's mirrored in the stock's price action. But, wow, is it volatile?
Volatility is putting it mildly here. I mean, you have to ask, who are the investors gutsy enough to buy this thing down at $16 and then hold it all the way up to $141?
Good question.
The 52-week range is literally $16.71 to $141.10. That's just wild.
That range really tells the story, doesn't it? This is absolutely not a stock for the faint of heart. And it's high beta 1.1 times. Meaning it exaggerates market movement. So if the broader market moves 1%, this stock is likely to move, 1.19% or even more up or down. It's a risk amplifier.
Okay, good to know. But despite that risk, the stock's been on a serious tear lately. October 24th, just recently, it surged over 9%, closing above $117, apparently driven by some company news and maybe a helpful macro backdrop. Cooler CPI data.
Yeah, that cooler inflation data definitely helped the mood, suggesting maybe the Fed eases up a bit. And technically speaking, the momentum indicators are just, well, screaming bullish. It has a Benzinga momentum score of 99.08.
99 out of 100.
Pretty much. It signals really exceptional recent price performance and probably high institutional interest buying in.
And the analysts seem to be following that momentum. The consensus rating right now is a strong buy. And their average 12-month price target is sitting around $156.40. That's still, about 40% upside from where it's trading now?
Roughly, yeah. Suggesting Wall Street thinks there's still a long runway for growth ahead, despite the valuation.
Interesting.
So, okay, let's pivot then to the near-term catalysts. Or maybe volatility triggers is a better word. The next 3 months look loaded with events that could really move the needle.
All right, what should people be watching?
The most immediate one is the Q3 earnings report. That's November 11th. Now, since a loss is expected, the market probably won't fixate on the bottom line number itself. Instead, everyone's going to be laser focused on what management says. Commentary about growth execution, progress on that big Microsoft partnership, and definitely the status of the Arita initiative.
Execution milestones. That seems key, especially with so much riding on these big partnerships. How is that Avreed Uber robotaxi launch actually progressing towards that late 2025 Dallas goal?
Yeah.
Is it on track? And what about the actual go-to-market plan with TD, SY, and NX? Are they selling? Positive updates there could be like rocket fuel, right?
Absolutely. Rocket fuel. And then we also have some predictable market flow events coming up that could just amplify whatever the price action is. Things like ETF rebalancing, that happens near the end of November, and institutional buy windows opening up in December.
How do those work?
Well, they could provide significant liquidity, maybe push the stock higher if it remains a favored holding in key indexes or funds,
Yeah.
or amplify selling if sentiment shifts. More fuel on the fire, either way.
Gotcha. And, as often happens with these high-growth kind of speculative names, there's always the background buzz to consider. Any interesting rumors floating around?
There were always rumors. Some chatter included a potential secondary listing, maybe in Europe, to tap into different pools of capital. And there was some whispers about the company possibly evaluating a, let's say, high-value acquisition in the AI hardware space to integrate their whole stack even further.
Interesting. Bringing chip design or something in-house?
Potentially. Pure speculation at this point, of course. But those are the kinds of things people talk about.
Right. But, okay, let's bring it back down to earth. Before we wrap up, we have to reiterate the critical risks here.
Yes, absolutely have to. Risk number one remains that just stratospheric valuation, a PE of nearly 138, especially when paired with that lack of detailed SEC balance sheet data we talked about. It leaves absolutely zero room for error. None.
So any slip up?
Any disappointment at all in growth execution, in margin improvement, any delays in those big partnerships,
Yeah.
it could trigger a sharp, immediate, and frankly, pretty brutal correction.
And that dependence on partners like Uber and Microsoft, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Completely. I mean, these deals are potentially transformative, game-changing, but Nebius Group's future success is now fundamentally tied to integrating and rolling out successfully with these huge, very demanding partners.
So if they stumble or change priorities,
Nebius Group could take the fall right along with them. Their fates are linked now.
it really sounds like a high conviction bet then. You need
Yeah.
to believe and you need to watch it like a hawk.
That's a good way to put it. You have to be ready to closely monitor every single partnership update, every quarterly report, just to see if the execution is actually living up to the incredibly high promise.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? Nebius Group looks like perhaps the purest, most concentrated bet available right now on the structural growth of AI and autonomous systems. Full stop. It's definitely boosted by strong recent technical momentum and those major strategic partnerships, which gives it a very high potential ceiling. However, and this is the big however, this is a premium valuation built almost entirely on future, still unproven success, and with limited financial transparency. It strikes me as an attractive opportunity only for investors who are genuinely comfortable with significant volatility and, let's be honest, a heavy dose of speculation. You're buying a potential rocket ship, but you need to know it might not have all the safety features installed yet.